For number 1, 1/5 times 26. To find the best estimate, you know that the closest number to 26 that is divisible by 5 is 25. So when you multiply across, you could get 25 over 5, which gives you 5, letter C. Number 2, 11/12 times 4/5. You know that both of these fractions are close to 1, and if you take 1 times 1, your answer would be close to 1, letter G. For number 3, 3 1/3 times 5/6. You know that 3 1/3 is close to 3, and 5/6 is close to 1. When we take 3 times 1, you get 3, letter B. Number 4, Joelle's necklace is 10 1/4 inches long. Aaron's necklace is 2 2/3 times as long. About how long is Aaron's necklace? So because it's asking about, we know that we want to estimate. So we know that 10 1/4 is close to 10, and 2 2/3 is close to 3. So if we take 10 times 3, that gives us 30 inches, which is letter G. Number 5 is 4 times 1/8. We want to take 4, and we can put it over 1 to help us multiply, times 1/8. And when we multiply across, we get 4 over 8, which simplifies down to 1/2, which is letter D. Number 6, 1/3 times 1/6. When we multiply across, we get 1 on the top and 18 on the bottom. And that would be 1/18, letter F. For number 7, 2 1/2 times 1 1/2. First, we need to change our mixed numbers into improper fractions. We can change 2 1/2 to 5/2 and 1 1/2 to be 3/2. And when we multiply across, we get 15 over 4, which we can change back into a mixed number. So we have to see how many times does 4 go into 15, and we know it goes in 3 times. And then we have 3 left over. So 3 3/4, which is letter B. For number 8, what is the area of a room that is 3 3/4 yards long by 3 1/3 yards wide? So we have 3 3/4 times 3 1/3. We need to change these into improper fractions so that we can multiply across. So 3 3/4 will become 15/4. And then 3 1/3 will become 10/3. And we can multiply straight across, giving us 150 over 12, which we will then need to turn into a mixed number. So we need to see how many times does 12 go into 150. And 12 goes into 150 12 times, and then leaves us with 6/12, which can simplify down to 1/2, which 12 1/2 yards squared, which is letter F. Number 9, Olivia ate 1/4 of a pizza. If there were 12 slices of pizza, how many slices did Olivia eat? So we have 12 slices times 1/4 of the pizza. So we can put a 1 under the 12 so we can multiply across, which will then give us 12/4, which we can then turn into a number, which will be 3. So that is B, 3 slices. Number 10, what is the area of a rectangle with a length of 1/3 yard and a width of 3/4 yard? So we know to find the area, we need to multiply length times width. So we have 1/3 times 3/4, and we multiply straight across to get 3/12, which we can then simplify to be 1/4 yards squared, which is letter H. Number 11, use the draw a diagram strategy to solve. Lucas used 3/4 of the nails in a box. He has 12 nails left. How many nails did he use? So if we can see that 1/4 is 12, then we know that each fourth is 12. So each box in the diagram would be worth 12 nails. And if he used 3/4 of the nails, we know that that would be 12 plus 12 plus 12, or 12 times 3, which would give us 36, letter C. Number 12, Nora has 2/3 tons of stone to spread equally in 4 square yards. How many tons of stone will be spread in each square yard? To set up this problem, we need to figure out how many tons of stone will be in each of the yards. So we need to divide 2/3 by 4. And we know to divide with a fraction, you change it to multiplication and flip the number. So then we can multiply across to get 2 over 12, which would simplify to 1/6. So 1/6 ton per square yard, letter H. Number 13, 3/4 divided by 1/8. We need to change that to be multiplication and flip our second number, so it will become 8 over 1. Then we can multiply across. So this will give us 24/4, which we can then simplify to be 6, letter D. 14, 2 divided by 4/5. So change that to 2 times 5 over 4. And we can multiply across, giving us 10/4, which we can change into a mixed number to be 2 2/4, which will then simplify to be 2 1/2, which is letter G. Number 15, 3 divided by 1 1/4. First, we want to change 1 1/4 into a improper fraction to make it easier to divide. So 1 1/4 will become 5/4. And then we can change our division problem into multiplication and multiply across, and we get 12/5, which we can change into a mixed number, which will be 2 2/5, which is letter C. Number 16, 1 1/3 divided by 2/3. We need to change 1 1/3 to an improper fraction, so that will become 4/3 divided by 2/3, which will change into multiplication and multiply across to get 12/6, which can simplify to be 2, letter G. Number 17, 4 1/6 divided by 2 2/3. We need to change both of the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 4 1/6 will become 25/6 divided by 5/3. When we change that to be multiplication, then we can multiply across. This will give us 75 over 30, which we can then change into a mixed number of 2 15/30, or 2 1/2, which is letter B.